Okay, so have you ever heard of Stoicism?
Yeah.
It's kind of blowing my mind lately.
Oh, yeah.
It's this ancient philosophy, but honestly, it feels like it was written for, like, dealing with today, you know?
Absolutely.
All the craziness of the world that we're living in now.
I think you're right. The Stoics were dealing with plagues, wars, political upheaval, all kinds of chaos.
Right.
And they came up with this way of thinking that helps them not just to survive, but to actually thrive.
And the best part is that it's not just for, philosophers and togas.
Right.
It's actually something that we can apply to our lives today.
Absolutely.
So we're going to unpack all of that in this deep dive.
Okay.
Think of it as your crash course in Stoicism for the modern mind.
I love that. So to really get, I think we need to start with like the foundation.
Yeah.
What is Stoicism at its heart?
Okay.
It's this idea that virtue, being a good person, making ethical choices, is the only true good.
Okay.
Everything else, money, fame, even your health, those are all external.
So it's not that those things are bad. It's just they're not, like, the most important thing.
Exactly. The Stoics would say they're indifferent, meaning that they don't inherently make you a better or worse person.
I got it.
It's how you use them, how you react to them that matters.
So, like, you could have all the money in the world,
Yeah,
but if you're a jerk, that doesn't make you a good person?
that's the Stoic take.
Okay.
And to help guide you toward that virtuous life,
Yeah.
they gave us these 4 cardinal virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance.
Ooh. I like it. I'm already sensing, like, a good example coming on.
Yeah.
So let's say you're, scrolling through social media
Okay.
and you see a friend sharing something that's just wrong.
Right.
Like maybe misinformation or even just like something mean.
Uh-huh.
How would those virtues play out in that situation?
That's a great example. Wisdom would be pausing before you react,
Okay.
considering the source and the impact of your response.
Right.
Courage would be speaking up, even if it means disagreeing with your friend or facing backlash.
Justice would be doing so in a way that's fair and balanced, even if you're calling out harmful behavior.
Okay.
And temperance. That's about keeping your cool, not getting sucked into an angry online rant.
Wow. Okay, that's actually super helpful.
Yeah,
It's like a framework for making better decisions online, which, let's be honest, we all need.
we do.
Now, to really understand Stoicism, we got to meet the all-stars. Right?
Yeah,
The thinkers who shaped this philosophy.
absolutely.
Who should we start with?
Well, you can't talk about Stoicism without talking about the founder Zeno of Citium.
Okay.
He was the OG Stoic back in ancient Athens.
I like it.
He came up with this idea of preferred indifference,
Preferred indifference.
which I know sounds a little complicated.
Yeah, break it down for me.
Okay, think of it like this. Imagine you're offered a promotion at work.
Okay.
It comes with more money, a fancy title, maybe even a corner office.
Yeah.
Now, those things are nice to have. They're preferred,
Okay.
but they're not inherently good in the Stoic sense. Okay, so it's not about rejecting those things.
Right.
It's about how you approach them.
Exactly. Zeno would say, enjoy them, use them wisely, but don't let them become the things that define your worth or happiness.
Don't get so attached to that corner office that you compromise your value
Right.
to get it.
Right. And that leads us to another Stoic heavyweight, Epictetus.
Epictetus. Okay.
He was actually born a slave,
Wow.
but became this incredibly influential philosopher.
Talk about overcoming obstacles.
I know.
What was his big takeaway?
He was all about focusing on what you can control.
Okay.
He said there are 3 key disciplines:
Okay.
the discipline of desire, action, and assent.
Okay.
Basically, you should only desire what's within your control.
Got it.
Your actions should be aligned with your values and duty, and you should carefully consider your judgments before accepting them as truth.
So don't waste energy wishing for things that you can't change, like, I don't know, winning the lottery
Yeah.
or suddenly becoming fluent in Mandarin.
Right.
Instead, focus on what you can do, like working on your side hustle or studying for that language test.
You got it.
Okay.
Epictetus was all about taking responsibility for your inner world,
Oh, chill.
because that's the only place where you have true agency.
This is making me rethink how I react to things already.
Yeah.
Who's next on our Stoic all-star lineup?
Well, we have to talk about Marcus Aurelius.
Marcus Aurelius. Okay.
He was the emperor of Rome, but also this incredible philosopher
Cool.
who wrote Meditations,
Uh-huh.
basically his personal journal,
Right.
filled with Stoic wisdom.
A philosopher king. Okay, I'm adding Meditations to my reading list.
Yeah.
What was his Stoic jam?
He was all about living in the present moment. Don't dwell on the past. Don't fret about the future. focus on what you can do right now.
Okay.
He also believed in accepting death as a natural part of life.
That's one we don't really talk about that much these days.
No, we don't.
But I guess if you accept that it's inevitable, it frees you to live more fully.
That's the Stoic idea. And finally, we can't forget Seneca.
Seneca.
He was a playwright, advisor to the Emperor Nero.
Oh, wow.
Imagine the drama.
Yeah.
And a prolific Stoic writer.
Seneca, yes. I've heard of them. What was his focus?
He was really interested in overcoming those destructive emotions that we all face: anger, jealousy, grief.
Right.
He believed that Stoicism could give you the tools to manage those feelings and find inner peace.
Okay, this is all fascinating, but it does sound a little, I don't know, ancient.
Yeah.
How do we actually use this in our modern lives? Like on a Tuesday afternoon when everything's going wrong?
That's where the practical side of Stoicism, I think, really shines.
Right.
It's like having a mental toolkit for navigating life's curveballs.
Okay, so let's open up that toolkit.
Okay.
Give me a Stoic tool I can use when I'm stuck in traffic and already running late for a super important meeting.
One of the most powerful tools the Stoics gave us is the dichotomy of control.
The dichotomy of control. I remember that phrase. It was about focusing on what you can control.
Exactly. It's about dividing everything in life into two categories.
Right.
Things you can control and things you absolutely cannot.
Right.
You focus your energy on the things you can influence.
Okay.
Your thoughts, your actions, your attitude.
So in my traffic jam scenario, I can't control the cars in front of me, the construction, or the fact that I hit every single red light.
Right.
But I can control whether I let myself spiral into road rage or stress out about being late.
Or you could use that time to practice some mindfulness.
Yeah?
Listen to a podcast. Or even mentally prepare for your meeting.
Right. Suddenly that traffic jam isn't a frustrating waste of time. It's an opportunity.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm liking this dichotomy of control.
Yeah.
What other Stoic tools do we have?
Here's one that might sound a little counterintuitive: negative visualization.
Negative visualization. I thought this was all about positive thinking.
It's not about dwelling on the negative. It's about mentally preparing for setbacks.
Oh, okay.
Imagine the worst case scenario.
Okay. A presentation flops, the deal falls through. You spill coffee all over yourself right before you walk into the meeting.
Okay, now I'm really stressed. Why would I do that to myself?
Because by considering those possibilities, you appreciate what you do have right now.
Okay.
And you're less likely to be blindsided if something actually goes wrong.
Got it.
It's like a mental fire drill.
Ah, so it's not about expecting the worst. It's about being mentally and emotionally prepared.
Right.
If things don't go as planned.
Exactly. And speaking of being prepared,
Okay.
there's one more tool I think we should add to your Stoic toolkit.
Okay.
The Stoic response to difficult situations.
Okay. Let's say I get to that meeting, and despite all my mental preparation, things go south. The client hates my proposal. My boss is disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm feeling completely deflated. What's the Stoic move?
Instead of getting swept away by those feelings of disappointment and frustration,
Okay.
you take a step back and use reason to analyze the situation.
Okay. Ask yourself, what happened? What's in my control? And what's the best course of action now?
So I'd acknowledge that the meeting didn't go well,
Right.
but I can't change that.
Right.
What I can control is how I respond. Do I dwell on the negativity, or do I look for ways to learn from the experience and improve for next time?
Exactly. It's about shifting from a place of emotional reactivity to a place of reasoned action.
Okay.
That's the heart of the Stoic response.
I like that. This is amazing. It's like having this whole new way of approaching challenges.
Yeah.
Now, earlier we touched on something that really caught my attention. Cosmopolitanism.
Right?
The idea that all humans are part of this universal brotherhood.
Yeah.
That feels incredibly relevant today.
I agree.
With so much division in the world.
It is. It's one of the most beautiful and radical aspects of Stoicism.
Okay.
They believed that beneath all the surface differences, nationality, social status, ethnicity, we all share the same capacity for reason and virtue.
So it's about seeing past those superficial differences and recognizing our shared humanity.
Exactly. And that's not just some feel-good philosophy. It has real implications for how we treat each other.
Give me an example. How would a Stoic approach interacting with someone who holds completely different beliefs?
Okay.
Or comes from a totally different background?
A Stoic would approach that interaction with respect and a willingness to understand.
Okay.
Remembering that this person, despite their differences, is still a fellow human being,
Yeah.
worthy of dignity and consideration.
That's so powerful.
Yeah.
Especially in today's world where it's easy to get caught up in echo chambers
Right.
and online arguments. It's like a reminder to listen more, judge less.
Yeah.
And remember that we're all in this together.
It is. And this idea of interconnectedness extends beyond just humanity.
Okay.
The Stoics believed that we're all part of this larger web, connected not just to each other, but to nature and the universe as a whole.
So it's about understanding our place in the grand scheme of things, recognizing that our actions have consequences that ripple outward.
You got it. It's about cultivating a sense of responsibility, not just for ourselves and our immediate circle, but for the planet and future generations.
Wow, this is really shifting my perspective.
Yeah.
It's both humbling and empowering to think about things this way.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's what's so fascinating about Stoicism.
Yeah.
It's an ancient philosophy, but it offers incredibly relevant insights for navigating the complexities of modern life.
We've covered so much in this deep dive. The core principles of Stoicism, those amazing Stoic thinkers like Zeno, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and Seneca.
Right.
And we've even started to explore how we can put these ideas into action in our own lives.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
I know, right? There's so much more to discover in the world of Stoicism.
There is.
But before we wrap things up, I want to go back to something you said earlier.
Okay.
About the Stoics not being about suppressing emotions, but about understanding them and choosing how we respond.
Right.
That feels really important, especially in a world that often tells us to just be positive or don't sweat the small stuff.
It is a crucial point. The Stoics weren't about denying or ignoring emotions.
Okay.
They understood that emotions are a natural part of being human.
Right.
But they believed we have a choice in how we respond to them.
So it's not about pretending everything is fine when it's not.
Right.
It's about finding a way to navigate those difficult emotions in a healthier way.
Exactly. It's about developing the mental and emotional resilience to weather the storms of life without being completely swept away by them.
So how do we actually do that? How do we become less reactive and more resilient, especially when life throws those curveballs our way?
That's where I think those Stoic practices we've been talking about really come in.
Yeah.
Things like the dichotomy of control and negative visualization, focusing on the present moment. These are all tools that I think can help us manage our emotional responses.
It's like building mental muscles, right?
Yeah.
Training your mind to find that calm center, even when everything around you feels chaotic.
I love that analogy. The Stoics believed that virtue and wisdom are like muscles that need to be exercised regularly.
Yeah.
The more we practice these principles, the stronger and more resilient we become.
So it's not about becoming some emotionless robot.
No.
It's about developing a healthier relationship with our emotions.
Right.
Even the difficult ones.
Exactly. And remember that idea of apatheia we touched on earlier.
Yeah.
It's not about suppressing emotions entirely, but about achieving a state of inner peace.
Okay.
Of not being ruled by our passions.
So it's like being able to observe your emotions without getting completely swept away by them.
Yeah.
You can acknowledge that you're feeling angry or frustrated, but you don't let those feelings dictate your actions.
Precisely. And that's where I think Stoicism can be so helpful.
Yeah.
It gives us a framework for understanding and managing our emotions so we can respond to challenges in a more thoughtful and constructive way.
This has been such an incredible journey into the world of Stoicism.
Yeah, it has.
It's amazing how this ancient philosophy feels so relevant
to
the challenges we face today.
I agree with you. It really is. And even though we've covered so much ground,
right,
from the core principles to those fascinating Stoic figures like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, I feel like we've only scratched the surface.
No, right. There's always more to explore.
There is.
But I think we've given our listeners a solid foundation to build on.
Absolutely. And if you're feeling inspired to delve deeper into this world, I highly recommend checking out the writings of the Stoics we've discussed today.
Okay.
Their words are just as powerful and insightful today as they were centuries ago.
And remember, Stoicism isn't just about reading and pondering.
Right.
It's about taking action.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's about making small, conscious choices each day to live in alignment with those Stoic principles.
So as you go about your day, remember to focus on what you can control. Treat others with kindness and respect. And embrace the interconnectedness of all things.
Okay.
And maybe most importantly, remember that you have the power to choose your response.
Yeah.
Even in the face of challenges.
Beautifully said. It's been a pleasure diving deep into Stoicism with you.
Likewise.
Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.